And hello again to another episode of CBD Blogger. My name is Matt.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we're doing something a little bit different today. So we're not reviewing products, we're going to talk about stuff that we've found in the news and talk about it and really sort of start a trend for us to natter on about stuff that's going on in the CBD world.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff seems to be being put out there. It's just it's a great opportunity for us and hopefully for other people to just get a sense of how the landscape is moving and changing all the time. And
it is changing all the time, very rapidly. So we'll start this. This is an article we found on healtheuropa.eu, and it's talking specifically about a major television campaign launched by British Cannabis. And then initially you might think, well, big deal. But it is a big deal, actually, because CBD, having been only made legal in 2017, is still finding its feet, and it's in conflict with a lot of legislations, as well as a lot of perceptions that the general public have about CBD.
Well, it seems like also, yes, a lot of the marketing of it so far has been quite under the radar stuff, isn't it? Because they can't promote on the big social media channels. So actually putting something in a real mainstream.
It is a big deal. I mean, Facebook have had restrictions on CBD advertising. They might still have them in place.
Yep, they do, as do Google as well.
Yeah, and it makes it really hard for companies to get their stuff out there. But this is potentially a game changer. So the article goes on to say that it's part of a £500,000 awareness and recruitment campaign for 2022 and 2023. Targets a demographic of people over the age of 45 who are health conscious, and the advert will encompass a whole range of cannabis CBD oils, plant oral capsules, CBD dermal patches and rescue cream. Now I think that the core of this here is, well, I'm going to quote, there is a quote, I'll read it, from British Cannabis Managing Director David Rowson, who says, "This is a monumental moment for our industry, as this is the first fully approved TV advert to use cannabis industry terminology, including iconography of the industrial cannabis sativa L plant itself." And I think that the point he's making there is that it's undemonizing cannabis and taking it to the mainstream. When he says a monumental moment, I get what he means. It's a big step, because this will open up, well, this clearly is going to open up, I suppose, the floodgates for a lot more advertising in a more mainstream way for a lot of companies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when he mentions, using some of that iconography of hemp plants, I think that puts it all out there, isn't it? In terms of saying this is what is in effect looks like marijuana. It isn't marijuana. It's the hemp. It's CBD. So really helps to, hopefully we'll start to clarify that picture, or at least move the discussion on.
Yeah. Someone else from CEO Tom Wetham. I can quote him from the article. It says it has been quite a breakthrough by the team, to say the least, to be able to even mention the word cannabis and topics like our THC-free status on UK television. It's a big deal.
It'd be interesting to see what channels that comes out on. But also, you figure, if they've agreed a terminology and a way of talking about it, that should really start to move and influence the way maybe social media is allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, they've actually got quite a responsible position here, because they might be laying this company seems to be laying a huge amount of groundwork for the industry anyway. Interesting as well, the company successfully started to sell its CBD products on eBay.
Oh, okay.
Which leads me to another article I found at chargedretail.co.uk.
It's not mainstream publications.
We're not. So no.
Take some digging out. Some of this news.
Some of this stuff has taken some digging. You're quite right, and I think that ties into this here in terms of mainstream advertising. Give it 6 months, and we're probably going to find a ton of stuff to talk about in mainstream. But anyway, chargedretail.co.uk had something published stating that, and I didn't know this, that eBay have started to allow CBD products. Now, previously they didn't; they were prohibited. But the sale of CBD products on eBay was previously banned globally, and the move is already being highly regulated. So companies can sell their CBD products on eBay, but it is gated.
Right.
So you have to be vetted before CBD will allow you to actually sell your product.
Imagine, yeah.
Which I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that, and that will tie into something else that we can bring up in a minute. But yes, the fact that CBD products can be bought on eBay.
Yeah, and I think there is a similar thing, I believe, on Amazon as well. Now, whether you can actually use the word CBD or whether they can just promote their sort of products. I think Cellular Goods have some skincare, CBD skincare product that I think they've been allowed to push onto Amazon. So, definitely movement on all those things.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's all sort of signposting how the CBD market is going to grow over the next few years.
Yeah. And I think a little bit what you're saying in terms of eBay and trying to make sure it's a gated thing, an approved thing, was leads on to one of the things that I'd sort of come across, and that is it's about trying to make sure that products are genuine, that you're seeing out there, and there's an awful lot of stuff goes out in terms of scam and fake news, particularly in the world of CBD gummies.
Well, I know where you're going with this.
Yes, I know, because I think you'd see it and pointed it out to me. But actually, this came out in Good Housekeeping magazine, so definitely more mainstream. Literally just last week, 22nd of March. We're talking about people basically hijacking celebrities to promote CBD products.
I fell for this one. This was the Russell Brand one.
Well, actually, the most recent one is Mayim Balik, who is from the Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
So, TV show, but obviously, yes. Prior to that, there was a big thing about sort of Russell Brand. I think taking the product, endorsing it, either investing in it.
I remember. I saw the advert and I read it and I was like, oh, it's Russell Brand. Well, actually, it kind of makes sense that he'd be interested and be involved with CBD. But it purported that I think he'd launched his own CBD company.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
The thing is that they're very sort of sophisticated. These things. So because they rely on attaching a personality and people sharing it virally, and then people go and Googling it. And what these companies do is they buy a whole load of domains, and then they literally write articles and publish them out on all these domains. So when people go and say search for Russell Brand CBD gummies, as it was, then all these articles show up.
Yeah.
But they're all fakes, and they're all pointing to trying to sell this one product. Now, it's not to say necessarily the product itself was fake or poor. Who knows? But it's just
you've got to think though that the end game there was
basically
going
to fleece. Yes, exactly, fleecing people. So the thing is, you do have to be really aware, and certainly as things start to open up. And that's why, obviously, I guess there is these legislation and advertising standards and all the rest of it, is with sort of social media playing such a big part in the promotion of CBD products.
Well, you'd like to think
a vulnerable area.
I think you'd like to think that with these guys sort of pushing the legitimacy of advertising for the industry and working hard on it as they are, that it will start to reduce the... let's face it, every industry, every market, we're all being scammed or try to be scammed all the time. I mean, I only, apparently I could bring $1 billion into the UK from a country the other day. We've all had those emails. It's happening all the time, but hopefully stuff like this will diminish as it becomes a little bit more accepted and mainstream. And maybe that's it. Maybe because it is a little bit underground at the moment. These types of businesses can exist. So I think it's one of those things. It's it's sort of interesting, but there is a serious side, and you do need to
try and check out the products and try and find other reference points, don't you?
Be careful, which that kind of like ties into this one here. So we have an article that we found, this is February this year, it's published in the foodsafetynews.com. Why did I have some
more exciting publications you've been digging into?
I've been diving in, haven't I? This is a report talking about concerns from the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health.
Right.
All this stuff just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And this is essentially talking about the concern for the market being flooded with illegal CBD products, illegal edibles. And I think it's relevant to talk about it because I think that when we say illegal, I mean that sort of covers a whole sort of range of topics.
Yeah,
there.
that's what
I mean, okay? So potentially, are you looking at a product that's CBD? You buy it, you pay 80 quid for the tub, you take it for a month, 6 weeks, and you have no effect. You feel, well, it didn't help me. How do you know it's got CBD in it? Whilst everything's so unregulated, how do you actually know that your product is a CBD product? You don't. And at the opposite end of that scale, you don't know that you're potentially buying a CBD product, which could be 10% marijuana. It's got high levels of THC in it, which makes it A, illegal, and B, potentially dangerous for you to take it if you don't know what you're taking. I think that this is actually an important thing to read. Legislation for legislation's sake doesn't really help anybody. But clearly, this is kind of unregulated market. It's still in its infancy. It's still a bit of a pickle, bit of a mess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to change within the CBD market over the next few years.
Yeah.
And having a clear understanding and regulation on what you're eating.
And that's I think and it's something that we've seen just when we were doing a look at all the teas and things like that, and started down the gummies and things, is the fact that because there are no set standards of actually how you're reporting the content of the product, the strengths, all the dosage, all these sort of things.
Here we go.
They're very much down to individuals.
This was actually written by a guy called Joe Whitworth. I'll say that because you probably gathered none of this is our own material. We're just sourcing stuff and chatting about it. But the comment here is that cannabis sweets will clearly appeal to children. It's very true. But we don't know how much cannabis is in the sweets, what its purity is, and what dose is safe and what is not. Very valid. Very valid. I mean, we've been taking edibles. We've sort of done a bit of research on the companies that we've got here, and we're feeling confident that
it is what it is,
and we're talking to the right people. But if you're going to be walking around the shops, you're walking into a sweet shop that might have cannabis CBD sweets, and you think, well, kids can have it.
Probably not at the current prices.
Probably not the current prices. No, you might. No, but it's something, isn't it? The idea of what you're ingesting.
It certainly needs to move forward, doesn't it? I mean, to like you say, try and give confidence in the market as well, just transparency for everyone.
Yeah, because the trouble is at the moment, anything with CBD in it is a novelty food. And that's going to change. Anyhow. We've
good.
Prattled on a little bit there.
Good.
We'll have another one of these episodes coming up soon. So if you'd like to maybe follow us, give us a like, that'd be great.
All right. See you in the next video.
Cheerio.